I'd like to call to order the City of Franklin Personnel Committee meeting for Monday, March 16th. Roll call, please.
Okay. I'm just going to name it how it is on here, okay? Run down here. Alderwoman Michelle Eichmann.
Here.
Alderman Yusuf Hassan.
Here.
Richard Budney.
Here.
Frank Prusko.
Here.
Kathy Richards is absent and excused. Danielle Kenny.
Here.
Hamza Zuberi.
He's not here.
Kaylee Ireland.
I'm here.
Myself and our new HR administrator, Blake Wheating.
Here.
Well, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, our first item of business is a citizen comment period. We have someone in the audience. Would anybody care, please? Shirley?
Oh, we need a...
Oh, okay. Shirley Roberts, 9229 West Loomis Road. I just would like to make a comment on item 6. In the packet, it states that it hasn't been looked at since 2018, but no one in the city well, some of them may have been, but a lot of them have not been looked at since 2018. So I feel if you're going to look at one, that maybe we need to look at them all, the job descriptions. So that's my comment. Any questions? No?
Thank you. Sorry, my voice is like... I said thank you, but I'm not very loud right now.
It's okay.
I got nothing.
Is there anyone else? Okay, thank you, Shirley. Pardon me?
Do we need to announce what time he joined us?
Oh, sure. Hamza joined us at 6:04. Well, item 3, I'll hand it over to Blake. Hi, Blake.
Is this thing on? There we go. Well, I just want to say thank you very much for having me here. And my name is Blake Wheating. I have 8+ years of HR experience, and I come from the school district of Muskego, where I was, I was raised there, and I kind of never left. But I started here about 3 weeks ago, right? About 3 weeks ago. And I have had nothing but wonderful experiences here, and this is such a wonderful city. So I want to thank you all so much, and I'm happy to put the faces to the names of everybody here too. So thank you very much.
Thank you and welcome, Blake.
Yes, welcome. Our next item, item 4, approval of the minutes for December of 2025.
Move to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay. Make a motion to approve?
Yes.
Second?
Yep.
Thank you. Item number 5.
Wait, did you do a total? Everybody?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Everybody in agreement with approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any nays? Okay, good. Item passed. Thank you. Item 5, review and approve the draft language for the sick leave changes in employee handbook.
So I had given you guys a number of documents just because the way that it's currently written versus what I wanted to show how I feel it should be written. It was just so different that I thought I would provide the current policy and then a redlined policy, if you will. So you can see that the deleted language is the strikeout, the new language I underlined. And then the final item on that is what I'm proposing for the revised language to look like for this item. Any questions, concerns? Is this something that personnel approves to go forward for inclusion in our handbook? I should say revision.
Any questions?
And the new one was the transition item. The new item that you're referencing was number 5 on this one. Second, what number? Page 7.
Okay.
Or 8, I guess, because it's on the back.
7, 8.
Is that the new item?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the recommendation, is to make sure that this is all kind of added and right.
9 and 10 is
How it would
the
appear.
written draft, right?
Yeah, that is so 9 and 10 is what I am proposing it would look like in our employee handbook versus pages 5 and 6.
Have you had any feedback from any city employees on any of this with the changes?
No, the only feedback that I've gotten is that our payroll clerk wants this determined so she can make sure that she has it in all of her information that she needs. I think that I would venture to guess that most people take sick leave as they need and use that time accordingly. I don't know if employees are taking sick leave and doing it for themselves or their family members, but I do agree that it should be something that's covered. If it's a benefit and time that you have accrued, I mean, I think it's, to me, being a mom of 4, even though my husband's a stay-at-home dad, there's just still sometimes where I need to take time off and be with kids or take them to doctor appointments, stuff like that. And I think that it's right and fair, and it is one of those things that kind of aligns all of the documents that we have to align on the same page and benefits for all employees.
Can you refresh us? If you recall, it's been a while since we had the last meeting. Without saying the employee's name, of course, wasn't there a situation where somebody needed to take leave, a family member, but they weren't able to?
Well, that's different items, though. I don't know. So I'm going to tell you right now, I was here for the first portion of the September 2025 meeting that this was brought up in. And then I had to leave because it was the night before the budget, the presentation for the mayor's recommended budget. So I was not part of all of that, but I can say that if you're talking like FMLA, that's different than sick leave. So I don't know what the situation was.
Okay, thank you. I just thought there was a situation that was mentioned. Am I wrong?
I don't know if it was a specific person, but there were 2 classifications for who could and who couldn't take sick time
Yes.
for a dependent or someone who lived in their household in the previous policy. Forgive me if I start coughing.
It included, yes, management and supervisors were allowed to do that, but everyone else was not.
Yes. So the new language is removing that restriction and allowing essentially everyone to accrue sick time at certain limits and then allowing them to take that for a dependent. And what we had asked for was to better define who they could take sick time for. Not, so it couldn't be sick time for kind of, I'll say random person. It needs to be someone who lives in the household. And that was the verbiage that was not in the old policy for the ones who could also take sick time. There was no true designation on who it was allowed to be.
Thank you for that clarification.
I don't see where, does it mention about when somebody leaves the organization, are they paid out any sick leave? Or is that not in this?
Yeah, I don't think that this would be in this area. That's going to actually, the sick leave and how that works in terms of being paid out, that comes under severance pay. So it would not be in here. This is just about accrual of benefits, and this one happened to be the sick
Okay,
benefits.
this is just a portion of the sick leave policy. Okay.
So to summarize, we are recognizing that for non-represented employees, sick leave begins to accrue when they first start the job. And also, we're broadening the definition of what constitutes allowance for sick leave as far as taking sick leave in order to support an employee in the household.
Right. There would be a definition of household members. So if you were an employee and your domestic partner's sick, you have a legitimate policy here now that would allow you to use that time accordingly, or what have you.
So in the case if you were to have an elderly parent that may need to go somewhere, you cannot take sick leave to support them because they're not living with you. That would be a correct statement.
Yeah, I mean, you could take time off. You could take paid time off under FMLA. Yeah, and people do that. They'll do like intermittent FMLA, and then that way they have the time that they need to, let's say, take somebody, a dependent, whether it's parents or children, to an appointment.
For FMLA, though, that's quite a process to begin to fill out the paperwork to use it. More so
not
than
really.
just to say, I need to take a day off.
Right. I mean, with a medical certification, we do allow employees at least 15 days to work that through. And I'm very willing to work with them for that. And as far as like appointments that might not be, as Kelly was saying, for appointments, it would be intermittent. So they would be approved for that with that doctor's certification.
So they would have to go through the process of the doctor's certification before FMLA would apply.
Well, we can apply it retroactively if needed, but so there are countless emergency situations where that would happen, where you can't do it beforehand, and no problem doing it retroactively.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
I think that, sir, just to kind of summarize it, I think it's important that we are making all of the language and benefits comparable as much as possible. Really try to make them as the same as possible, except for obviously our union contracts. But and to recognize that this is time that's been earned, and obviously we all have our own people that we have to support. So I think it's just offering flexibility and adaptability to where we are now.
Which is very good for the employees. Is there a motion to approve the draft language for sick leave changes in the employee handbook?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone not in favor? Okay. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Item 6, approval of the Director of Health updated job description in JAQ rating.
Yeah, this was here in December, I think, and it was sent back for details on the budget piece. And the information that you had requested, it had already been adopted in the budget. So approved and adopted in the budget was what this would do to the Director of Health's pay scale. And yeah, so I mean, from a fiscal standpoint, it's already there. So it just comes down to whether or not you want to adopt the new job description and then and whether or not you want to apply the already budgeted for increase.
Are there any, Michelle?
So with approving this new job description, then that would provide her with an additional 2% raise on top of the 2% raise that she already received. Is that correct?
No. No, it's not correct. So the job description would take her from one level to another level, and as such, she would be, I think that it was a 5% increase that was budgeted for her.
And it's my understanding there was not a 5% cut made in the health department, but police, fire, every other department in the entire city had to make a 5% cut. Is that correct?
No, I don't think so. I thought that there was a cut. I think all of us had made cuts.
And she wasn't able to be with us this evening?
She's pregnant and due any day. So, in fact, she might be at the hospital now, for all I know. Oh, I should also mention that the Board of Health reviewed and approved this, and my understanding is they're kind of waiting for it to be approved and concerned as to why it is not.
Is it correct in stating that the level that she was at was already for if she had a master's degree anyway, then she completed her master's degree?
No, she had a master's degree.
Not a
I
lot.
don't believe it was required. Actually, the change about the levels comes from the recognition that the state of Wisconsin is providing to our health department. It's the level of care that they provide and compliance.
Shouldn't that extra funding then be divided between the entire health department?
Well, I'm not talking about any extra funding. There's no extra funding, actually. I think a lot of times this stuff comes with its own unfunded mandates, which is always fun, but it's not that at all. This is about the job description, bringing it up to current, so that way it actually reflects what she's been doing and what the expectations are.
If it has nothing to do with a financial aspect of it, though, then why do we table it back in December until the budget could be looked at?
I can't speak to why it was tabled. What I can tell you is that, or why the committee did, except for the fact that the question was, did we have it in the budget, and what did it mean? It means a 5% increase, and it was already put into the budget and adopted for 2026. It is a change in the pay level.
That's why we tabled it, is because we didn't know if it had been allotted for in the budget or not.
Correct.
Right.
And it was.
I've had several employees throughout different departments in the city reach out to me concerned about this because everyone was getting the 2% raise, and they had concerns, valid concerns of why, and it has nothing personally to do, of course, with Lauren whatsoever. She does an excellent job, but why she was getting a raise when we've got employees that are working over a tremendous amount of overtime on salary in several different departments across the board. The money can be used for the extra firefighters that we need. Our DPW is short. I mean, the list is endless of departments in our city that need assistance.
Actually, the amount would be not even remotely anything that could impact like a new
What is
new
that
position and stuff. I mean, you're talking about like 5%. It's
What would that amount be?
salary. I don't know. But it would put her into the correct pay level. So that's why it's not a here's your merit increase. It's here's where you should be based upon the job description. Here's the job description and the pay level.
But it comes with a 5% increase in the pay level.
The 5% increase was already factored, and money was set aside for it.
And we tabled it in December because the money was not set aside for it.
No, because you didn't know if the money was or was not, and I didn't have that answer for you because I was on medical leave.
But we still don't have an answer of the dollar amount.
I could tell you that 5% of her pay is going to be less than $5,000.
I'm sorry, was that last part?
I think it's less than $5,000. Thank you.
It's also to my understanding this is removed from the Common Council agenda for tomorrow evening.
Yes, the mayor asked me to remove it.
Okay, that should be noted as well.
Would you like any more time, or where are we with this?
And one more thing I'd like to mention is our head clerk mentioned if we're redoing job descriptions and they haven't been done since 2018, shouldn't we be doing them for every employee?
Yes, we should, and that is something that I had wanted to do. It's something that was obviously, you have to plan accordingly to your priorities and your workload, so that's not something that has been handled like that. As a matter of fact, the only ones that have ever gotten updated were the ones that needed it in the moment, and that's why this came forward, because, we moved from a level 2 to a level 3. And that's pretty much how it's been happening in the time that I've been here and noticed. But yes, I would like to update all job descriptions because I think they're rather long and antiquated and got some pretty old language in there.
So then when we do get around to updating other job descriptions, will everybody else fairly get that percentage?
Not if it doesn't impact their pay level or their pay increase or their pay range, rather.
There appeared to me to be a significant change in the requirements.
Right. That's why the job analysis questionnaire is included.
And that's, I think, why the raise was connected with that. Whereas if you do a regular review of all job descriptions, it may or may not change anything significantly or the pay level. So
Correct.
there wouldn't be an automatic increase at that time also.
Yeah, it definitely would not be.
But she was already at this level that required a master's degree before she had her master's degree. I just wanted to point out. And again, this is nothing personal. She does an excellent job. We have, and not being biased, I think we have one of the best health departments around in Milwaukee
I was
County.
slightly off, by the way. The total would be $5,205.45. That's what we're talking about for the entire year of 2026.
No?
Thank you.
Yes, I believe when she came in here to talk to us at the last meeting, she was telling us the changes in her job description and that this somehow had to reflect something to do with certification.
Yeah,
and
the level.
Yeah.
Yep,
so
the level 3.
Right. So
Yep.
we're to get her in compliance with
Exactly. Right, exactly. So, now that we are a state certified level 3 agency under the Department of Health and Human Services, she had to update her job description. Thank you.
Yep. And that's really big to be level 3.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very big
Yep.
achievement.
Significant,
Yes.
right. Yep.
So-
Significant achievement.
Yep.
Then why is this not understood by the handful of employees that reached out to me concerned about?
You're asking me a lot of questions that I cannot answer because you're asking me why I think people think something or don't think something or ask.
It's just across the board, the employees that reached out to me from different departments just feel that they're not being treated fairly. And I did, of course, refer them then, now that we have an HR manager, to talk with him. But I just wanted to note that, I mean, it is a valid concern that this could upset other employees.
I mean, this happens all the time. That happens with promotions. It happens with hires. So it could also upset our health director who's been doing this since I've been here. And I don't know if it's worth $5,000. I mean, she's done the work. Also, that's how our system is. Right now, we have a non-rep increase. It's an annual increase. That's how it is. It's applied across the board. And then there's, like I said, the hires and the promotions outside of that.
Thank you. Why then did the mayor pull it off the council agenda for tomorrow evening?
Are you asking me to get into his brain, or what was his reasons to me?
Well, I'm just wondering if you know what his reason was for him to pull something off like that for tomorrow.
Yeah, because we are going to have a lot to deal with tomorrow, and he didn't want us to have council fatigue.
We're already going to have that.
I know. I already have it. Calling in sick.
Are there any other comments or questions on the matter?
If I'm looking at this, I think this was given to us when we talked about the new ranges. So the current role is at an 11/12, and we're bumping it to a 13. Is that what I understand?
No, it's a 12 in here, I
Yeah,
believe.
it's kind of like it's a slash. It's 11/12 on this one. They're in the same bracket.
I think it's 11 and bumped up to a 12, but I can't remember. I have to go back. I thought I saw 12.
So okay, and that kind of gives me another question, because I don't know. Here, 11 and 12 are on the same line. So if she's bumping to a 12,
It's because of the points.
is because of the level from level 2 to level 3 with regards to the state, or her
It's
points.
the JAQ.
The
It's the
JAQ.
points that come from that and where it puts somebody.
Okay. And then the current person I know is Lauren. How many years of service does she enroll?
What?
Do we know how many years of service she has with the city? I just don't know.
Lauren?
Yeah.
Over a decade, I believe.
Okay. I know it was a lot. I just couldn't remember what it was. But that's what I was confused about, because I thought we were saying 11 and it's going to 12, and I didn't know if it was going to 13.
No, I don't think so. I'm trying to find
So,
it.
do we have other roles? Yeah, I save everything. Do we have other roles that get certifications like this that would eventually require, like, outside? Because if 11 and 12 are on the same line, but this is pumping her up to a different because of some sort of certification, which I recognize is valid. Do we have other roles that end up doing that?
It's actually
Unless this is
12. It's 12.
Right. I just
It would move from 11 to 12. The point system is what makes the pay different.
Right. That's what I just wasn't understanding, because 11 and 12 are on the same
Right.
pay
But there's
grade on here.
right, yeah, the same the scale, but 11 can't get where 12 is. Like 11's max does not hit 12's max.
Okay.
That makes sense. Or it shouldn't. I will look at it later.
Me being nitpicky would separate those out then, because it does look like 11 and 12 could eventually hit the same max.
Maybe. I'll have to look at it later.
But regardless, so with her, years of service, and she's essentially, was she at 10 years, was she at the max of 12 now she's, or 11, I should say, now she's bumping up to 12, and that should put her at the max of, or is she still in the middle of this pay grade somewhere? Because I know
She's in the middle of the pay grade because last year she had gotten bumped up to get her to the 40% because she was not there.
Right. Okay. So in theory, she's somewhere on here between years 4 and 5 pay grade. Okay. I just needed that clarification.
Okay, fine, thank you. Any other questions, Michelle?
One more question. Kelly, when would this come back to council then? And
Well, it's set to go, so whenever it can be added to the council agenda,
'Cause
maybe the first one in April.
it would be a short item on the agenda for tomorrow. I feel the mayor pulled it for other reasons, but that's my opinion.
Is her pay held up because of the time before the council can approve it?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Is Lauren's pay held up?
You
until-
mean the
I mean, this-
pay increase, the 5%?
The pay increase, yes.
Yes, it would be held up. It's held up until it's approved.
By council.
Unless you wanted to do a retro, but yeah.
I like to do the retro, to be honest with you.
Yusef, what?
I like to do the retro for, I sit sometime on the Board of Health, and I know how much effort really Lauren is being given to the Department of Health. And to bring it to the level 3, I think that's really a huge achievement. And we should really acknowledge that. If that's possible to do retro for her, I would.
So you'd like to make the proposal to do the retro. When would be the starting date for the retro then?
Well, maybe March 3rd, because that was from last meeting. We postponed it from March 3rd for today, so we can just move on.
Okay, so
And now
if
it was taken out
we
of
have to
account.
make a motion whether to approve this. So if we
Yeah.
make a motion for the retro pay increase for Lauren, it would be starting with the date of March 3rd,
March, yes.
2026.
Yes.
Does anybody want to discuss the motion? Okay.
The only thing that I would say is that the motion, if we're going to do some sort of retro pay, would need to be more in line with when I'm going to use the word accreditation, was received. March 3rd would be kind of an arbitrary date, because we talked about it on March 3rd. It has more to do with when the accreditation was received and less about when we talked about it. And I have no idea when that accreditation date was, but if we're doing a retroactive, it would need to be the date that the accreditation was received.
I'm confused about the March 3rd date.
That's just when we last had a meeting, and
Oh, no,
Or-
this is March
Or not
16th.
March.
February 26th.
yeah, whatever. Yeah, I don't know
February.
when we tabled it.
Yeah, the Department of Health annual report was handed out to the Common Council on March 3rd.
Which you
And-
were talking
and
about
the-
a couple weeks ago.
Yes, and in that report, they were already approved as a level 3.
If I may make a suggestion, you could either make it effective at council approval, or you could make it effective January 1 because it was already budgeted, and then payroll can figure out what was retro or whatever if you go retro. If you don't go retro, you can, approve it, recommend it for council approval, and then it becomes effective whenever council approves it.
So Yusef, for the motion, would 1/1/26 be acceptable?
Yeah,
Did
Okay.
we receive the accreditation on 1/1/26, or did we just know that it was coming and budgeted for it?
I think the accreditation was received at the end of last year. And what did this come before here in December? Was it? I think December. So yeah, it would kind of align.
Alderman Hassan, I think, said that it happened in November of 2025.
the accreditation, I think so. You know, I am not 100% sure, but it's in the report.
Yeah,
can look it
I
up.
would not align it with that. The budget for the 2026 year. I would
So if
say
it
it's
was already
either,
budgeted since January, why don't we do it that way?
that's what I would recommend, or, effective whenever the council approves and what have you.
Okay, so we would have two motions to vote on.
You can make it just one.
Okay. Then we'll make it one.
Yeah, I
It would
actually have the approval of the job description JAQ rating, which then automatically makes the pay piece
Okay.
thing.
So what we are voting on is the approval of the draft language, the approval of the updated job description,
Correct.
as well as making that the pay effective as of 1/1/26.
So
I
moved.
will make
Is
that.
there a motion? Okay.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Second by yourself. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No,
One
I can't
and one
support the
opposed.
motion with the retro pay.
Wait,
Okay.
who else said, everyone else said yes?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yeas and
Okay.
one nay.
So motion passes?
Motion passes, yes. The next item on our agenda is the organizational structure. If I recall, actually, looking at Lauren's job
Yep.
description. What?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, we noticed that she was reporting directly to the mayor, and so then we were asking, what's the organizational chart for the city look like? And
Correct. So what I have provided here is a little bit of the background of why it was brought forward, the items that I have in here for it, the governing documents. I don't know if you had received that or not. It made it into some, and it seems like it didn't make it into others, so I can get that to you. Those are essentially the written language of the code for city officials, whereas the charts that you see are, it's like the UDO. Here's your maps, and then the UDO is the language. It's the same kind of thing. That's our map, if you will, and then the language, I will have to get you those items. I thought they were attached, so my apologies. But on page 29, you can see one of them. This was adopted in, trying to think of when this was brought forward. It's been changed by ordinance in 2005, and then also in 24 when the city engineer and that structure changed. So then there's chart 2, trying to think, that I believe that was also amended in 2005. And that's just your boards and commissions and your common council. Page 3 is more of that. Page 4 is more. So it's all about our boards, commissions. Page 34 is one of the older charts that we've had. And 35 is the one that a former mayor had altered, but it's actually not adopted by the council. So just a couple of different maps. They're all in there except for page 35. All in our code.
Is that additional information that we don't have something you could print now, or no?
What's that?
Is the additional information that you spoke of something you could print quick now for us to see?
Yes. Yeah. And it speaks to some of the changes. Like there were resolutions that changed the structure for the finance committee, or not finance committee, but rather the finance department. So they had added a finance director and a deputy treasurer and all those fun things over the years. And that's what's missing, basically. It just speaks to it.
So I know we asked to obviously see kind of what this looked like, but can anybody remind me exactly why are there changes that we're trying to propose to this? I know there were things that, people reporting to obviously different departments that didn't make sense, or different leaders that didn't make sense.
Correct. Yeah, I think the idea was to make it a little bit more streamlined and clear. So when I had written about this, I'm just looking for it, page 27, I tried to talk about the purpose and kind of some of the concerns as well, and then the recommendation, which should be more in line with how city statutes or state stats for cities like ours would be.
And this doesn't change council, alders being able to talk to department heads, correct?
Correct. What it does do is it kind of creates a buffer between the elected and staff, and more so with whoever is mayor and staff. So instead of having a mayor that can directly interfere with development projects that would involve inspections, department planning, engineering, DPW, water, sewer, that would align where everybody has one person to basically report to, I guess, and then that way, like I said, there's a little bit of a buffer. You don't have the mayor calling up anybody in those departments and saying, like, I need this, blah, 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 and then trying to supersede process.
So that the mayor should be here for this, in my personal opinion.
Right. He was here when this was brought up.
But the mayor can still.
The mayor's still the mayor.
So he can still, from what you just said now, has me confused. He can still call any department head.
Mm-hmm. He's the head of the executive branch, yes.
So when you say supersede a project or something, can you go into more explanation on that, just so I have better clarification, if you don't mind?
I guess you would have somebody that is in a consistent long-term position that would be responsible for the administrative piece of all staff. So let's say you wouldn't have a mayor calling down to the planning department and saying, I need you to green light this permit for these people because I want this business to go off without a hitch over here, and I want you to push this in front of everything else, and this is more important, that sort of thing. Like using his political pull to make staff life more difficult. And I'm not talking about this mayor, I'm just saying mayors in general. I think it's important that you have that kind of buffer, especially because the position is part-time. And, the amount that the person is paid really doesn't afford for even making it really a part-time job. So I think it makes sense that you've got a structure where questions are being answered, people are easily reachable, but you also don't have the political influence that can make staff jobs more difficult.
If this is political, I feel it should be tabled till after the election.
Kelly, do you have an example of what the flow chart would look like with the changes that you're recommending?
I don't. I can bring that next
It's
time.
hard to visualize.
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't change anything except, I guess, you would move the DOA up, and that way everybody has a direct reporting path.
Say that again. We were just pointing.
29, on page 29. If you'd move the DOA up under the mayor, then everybody reports into that structure. Our handbook actually matches a lot of the suggestions that I had in here.
So we don't have the correct flow chart in here to look at.
A new one.
No, you have the current.
This is the current. The proposed one would merely be how a corporation would do it, and that would be to have like the director of administration directly, underneath the mayor, then director of administration, and then everybody else reports to the director of administration.
Right.
Who
Because,
is a full-time administrator for the city.
right.
And not an elected official that could change.
Or
Well,
a part-time
the-
position.
And, well, that possibly is one part, but the other thing that would concern me is that there has got to be confusion as to who is your boss.
There is, and most people just come to me.
Right, but if it comes down to that, if somebody was to go to HR and make a complaint, they have to make a complaint about their boss, and they may be making a complaint about somebody that on the chart is not their boss, although they're the ones that are the director of administration of the city. So I see this thing needing to be looked at, just merely for that one change. That's all.
Yeah, I know when we had talked about this in December, the mayor was on board for it too. I know he had talked about it being not a clean path.
Who does the evaluation for our fire chief? Does the mayor sit down with him and do a written evaluation, give him his feedback, his annual feedback?
No.
Who does? Do you?
Well, I have not yet. No.
Okay.
We don't have we haven't had a performance evaluation program running in over 15 years. So that's something that Blanket and I are excited about working on.
So it'll be the same thing for the city engineer?
It would probably
So
be
then
the same thing.
do they get merit pay? I mean, do they get
No, we don't
annual
have
awards? Nothing?
No, we don't have that. We don't have merit pay. We don't have a merit pay policy, and there's no awards.
So if the city engineer was to start taking a little time off early every day, who's going to, and the word goes up the chain, who's the one that dials the city engineer up and said, you owe us 8 hours a day?
Me, but
You.
it doesn't work with him like that. But yes, it would
Okay,
be
well,
me,
it
or
would
it would be Blake.
Be you, but according to this chart, you don't have any authority over them.
Right.
That's what this chart's telling you.
Right. And the employee handbook is saying different. It's all convoluted.
Okay, so the employee handbook is saying that you're the people responsible to you.
Yes.
So then what we would, if we recommend to the council that a change, then that would just be to realign to the employee handbook.
Correct.
One or the other has to change, right?
Who wrote the employee handbook? I assume that's something that's approved by
Predecessor.
council.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been this way for ages. It's how it's always been. I mean, there's been adjustments throughout the years, obviously. But, yeah. I don't know who wrote it originally.
If I'm understanding this right, every employee in the city then would report to you.
Not necessarily. Everybody has their own reports. The departments all have their own reports. It's not like I would now have all of planning's employees reporting to me. They would report to Regulo as their planning manager.
Well, and I think this also just speaks to what our citizens spoke to before is also job title and job description. At this level, we have a director of city development, we have a director of administration, we have a director of health and services, and we have a director of finance. So if that's the case and we are going to kind of re-step level this organizational chart, some of those names and or job descriptions are probably also going to have to change. As if we're calling them a director, but we're also calling someone else a director that is above those directors, that causes a problem.
We already have that.
Right, but I'm saying it already is the problem. But I'm saying that causes a problem where you don't have a delineation between who is, where the top person, and then who reports to who on each level. Most corporate organizations are going to have something where you have a CEO, a CFO, and then you have directors under them, and then you might have, if you're in a certain area, you might have regional managers or, all those types of different levels. That's something that could exist here as well.
So if we follow along your thought process, the easiest would be just to rename Kelly's position, like administration chief, something like that.
Yeah, it could be chief of administration. Yes, that
Something
could
like
be
that.
something like that.
Okay.
And then that stops it from having an issue, or you can change these to, instead of director of city development, it could be administrator of city development. The title doesn't really matter so long as the difference is noted.
And I imagine that'll come again with the pay increase.
To Kelly? Or the pay increase to whom?
To Kelly.
To Kelly.
I don't know that the
That's
pay.
not for anything.
I don't think that a pay increase has to come just because you change a job title. It would only need to be if you're,
If I'm working 3 jobs at once.
or
For,
only if
like,
your
over a year.
responsibilities are.
She is the
Increasing or changing.
highest paid employee. Are you
She
not?
is the highest paid employee.
You are
in
the
the
highest
city.
paid employee.
I am not actually. I am underpaid. I am under one other employee, and the city attorney position is more.
You're graded. You're graded.
My
high-
grade is the highest.
is the highest. Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's complicated because in the typical organization, the mayor position would be like the president of the corporation
Yep.
or so on. But
And he
as I
still would be.
understand, the mayor is not a full-time position.
Correct.
So it gets more complicated. You need to have somebody that is a full-time employee
Right.
in charge of the
Right.
organization. So you
Right.
almost have 2 heads.
Yeah, you
Well,
have your,
it-
like your CEO and a CFO or whatever,
CEO,
C,
right. That's what the mayor's
CFA
for,
or
CEO.
that sort of thing.
Well, it's
Yes.
it is what we're proposing is literally no different than the United States government. We have a president and we have the House of Representatives and the Senate. Those are 2 separate, and so while they may answer to the president, he is not always involved in every decision that is made. And then you have your state representatives and levels all the way through that. It's very similar in that they're all still elected officials, I realize, in the U.S. government, but it's the same concept of separation of governing bodies.
Right.
So
But-
what do we need to get a new organization chart?
Well, we if we change it, that's what we were discussing. It would be one simple change, and then with the renaming of a position, so you don't kind of get
Right.
confused with what a director's role.
And I guess what my concerns are is, Kelly, you've stated in numerous meetings and so forth, and I don't think it's a secret to anybody, you work a lot. You are working nights, you're working weekends, you're overworked. We've all heard it. You've sent emails to council about it. This is only going to put more on your workload. Is that correct?
No, because I still meet with all the department heads, as I do all their employees, meet with them. They oversee them. I don't see all their employees. We already have a group that meets.
But in the absence of the mayor, for example, if there's a department head meeting and the mayor can't be there,
Which has
you're
happened.
already present anyway.
Right. I'm already there.
I still personally feel we should table this till after the election.
I don't see how the political implications would make any difference, whether the mayor or the person running against him would be elected as mayor.
I would
won't
think
change.
I would
It
prefer
won't-
it
it
to
won't
be in place
actually
before a new elected official came into position, so that there was no more confusion.
Blake, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Say I'm the city engineer, and I have a problem with Kelly. I can come back and say she's not my boss. Can I not with this organizational chart?
Well, I feel like we have processes in place where I understand what you're saying, but if there's a problem, like a personnel problem, that you don't want to go to your supervisor, there's always you can go to HR or another trusted administrator. So, but I do understand what you're saying. So if someone is uncomfortable going to their supervisor, I think human resources is always a fail-safe.
All right. Well, what I'm saying is that if under the organizational chart, she is not their direct supervisor, then there could be problems if somebody is fire's line of authority.
Well, I would
I mean,
just
I'm sure
interject.
you all work cooperatively, and I mean that's why the city runs so well.
Right.
Everybody's a dedicated employee.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just trying to.
It's,
I see a fault with the administration. I mean, with the
Structure.
this chart without the director of administration.
Seeing it on paper, I understand that too. I think there's a very well-known.
right. That's what I was going to
that-
say. It's like unwritten. It's written in the handbook,
Yeah.
but everybody comes to me anyway.
It's
Well, yeah.
true.
I wish we had a copy of that handbook in here.
It's actually in your
There's one
book.
personnel
Yeah.
Where's your binder?
That's right.
in the binder,
It's in the binder that you should have.
your personnel.
I never got a binder.
I never got a binder. I never.
Dana never gave you one?
No.
For the purposes of what we approved today for the Director of Health and Human Services job title, does the word director need to still qualify for our level 3? Like, does that need to be something that the state designates?
That I do not know, but all of the directors are named directors for their department except for the chiefs, and then also the superintendents. So they're either superintendents or directors.
Okay. I was just asking because if
Yeah.
we are making changes and there's some sort of rule that it needs to be a director, then we have to obviously follow that template. If it's not, then there's room there to, like I said, a job title change doesn't necessarily have to mean a
Right.
step pay level change. It's just realigning the org structure and title names.
Well, your suggestion's well taken, and the easiest fix would be to rename Kelly's position, because you could have problems with city engineer. They could end up having letterheads with their names on it. That all would have to be changed, and that could all be left the same.
Yes, changing one name would definitely be easier than changing 8, 9. I did not count.
But, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, and even like I said, a title is not, even if it doesn't say chief, if it's head of administration, that could be easy.
Well,
City administrator aligns with
Yeah.
state statute
And-
info.
Kelly, you're currently overseeing the engineering department still, is that correct?
Yes.
Any other departments? You were the HR manager for a bit, but any other? Is there something else I'm forgetting?
Administration, HR. Who do I have directly reporting to me? It's finance, inspection services, planning, engineering because of that position. Let me think. Health has always come to me just because, it makes sense.
So the clerk's office, then the head clerk would be reporting to you and not the mayor, is that correct?
Yeah, she currently reports directly to the mayor.
Everybody does. If this change would be a synonym for directors is a manager, a head, a leader, an executive supervisor. Those would be common synonyms for the term director.
And that would be appropriate for all of our directors of the various departments. Oh, IT, buildings, maintenance.
Let's see, administrator.
I mean,
Chief.
Kelly said that city administrator would cover it. Like that would
Right.
follow what state statute says, right?
Oh, okay. That would be more descriptive of your position, too. I mean, city administrator.
Instead of dead on arrival. DOA. Dead on
Do
arrival.
we take a short break until Frank comes back, or do we continue?
It's up to you. I
And
don't.
announce he left his seat at
Frank,
7:02.
Frank took a break at 7 o'clock. Or he left the meeting at 7.
Yeah, I think I would I don't think we have to decide on it right this second. I do realize that there's other things going on. I would like to see a map, a chart to see kind of where it goes and how it we would propose
A
it.
map of
A
what?
new org chart to see
Okay.
like what it would look like, what we're proposing and where we would look like. I mean, you kind of draw a little picture and go like this. Yay. Yeah.
That's all. It's just one change.
We'll see, but like you have them all, but then this, in theory, like I don't know if like how those two correlate. Right, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know how those correlate because you would think that facilities maintenance might come underneath, not necessarily here.
They're all like their own department people.
Or like even here, Public Works. How I don't know. That makes me. It seems like they would line up together, even if they're not, even if they're same level, they would line up. It's like I mean, you have sewer,
You have to
facilities. I like those are. They're all in these little. But I mean, I'm not trying to change anybody's bosses. I'm just looking at it and going.
Can we take a 5-minute break?
Sure. We're going to take a 5-minute break starting at 7:05. Sure. Well, Frank had left, so we commented that he had left the meeting temporarily. Then the meeting got to a point where we all took a break. So perhaps we could just say that we took a break from 7 o'clock to 7:15 and put it that way. In the minutes, if everyone is all right with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right, we're back to the organizational chart, and we actually had talked about two things. First off was the Director of Administration being moved up underneath the mayor. Then the second comment that was made was that the entire chart by itself should be revisited because there are some things that seem to be, that could be realigned better. So, do we make two motions or one motion?
Well,
Go ahead.
in full disclosure, I did call the mayor on our break, and of course he's not in favor of this. He wants it to be tabled, but it kind of goes against the point of the whole thing. But I'm just telling you, he's asking for it to be tabled. We said we can call him if we need to, but
Because the process is that we make a recommendation to the Common Council, and then the Common Council is the ones that's the final word on any changes, correct?
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think before it gets presented to the council, there's some changes on it that should be made
Yeah,
here.
we should see a
Yeah.
recommended chart. What does
Yeah.
that look like?
Yeah,
I'd like
I
to
mean,
see that.
I don't think we're there yet. I think
No.
there's, I mean, I don't think our opinion should matter on what the mayor at the moment has to say about this, but I think we have more work to do on, who would be the person to recommend changes. Is it us? Do we sit down and recommend what the changes are and do like a workshop on it or something and then pose that to the council, or how does that work?
I think so. I think, yeah. My first thought is I would like to see an organizational chart that Blake and Kelly feel most aligns with what the current handbook says. I think we need to see that because we're even saying here that this doesn't align with what the current handbook says. So I think we need to see a proposed organizational chart that is directly in line with the current handbook and whether or not that makes sense. Because there may be some of these entities that via their handbook or even, I don't know what HR system we use that shows who reports to who, is not what this actually says. Because each person in the system that we're using is going to, if they have a supervisor, it's going to be listed. And then the next level supervisor will be listed all the way up until we get to, I'm assuming, either Kelly or the mayor at some point. However, it's listed in our database.
And it's also my understanding that they have to, there's state statutes on organizational charts within cities, and we have to follow a format on how our city does it. That would involve then the attorney? I don't,
Not ours.
okay.
He doesn't do employment law.
Or take a look at another city's organizational chart and see how it fits into what we do.
Yeah, it would have,
Just as a comparison.
sure, it would have to be a city that's organized the way that we are organized,
Yes.
Greenfield, possibly.
with a part-time mayor.
Right.
Yeah, as an example, I feel like the HR coordinator should be moved up on this chart too. I feel there should be a couple other changes.
Beneath the mayor, then?
No.
Just trying to be funny, sorry.
Oh, okay.
But
But-
it might be comparable to some of the director positions.
Well, it's an administrative, HR is an administrative position.
Correct.
So, and they need to be unbiased, so they would not be reporting to anybody other than the administrator.
Yeah.
So do we need a motion on this? Or do we just
Or
make?
is it something we're to table it?
we just
Tabling until, yeah.
Well, when we say table it, we need to then say what we'd like to, like you said, exactly what you said, is to ask that we be provided a chart that follows along what the employee manual says.
Right, the handbook
The
and
handbook, yes.
what each position is listed in
So
as their direct supervisors.
So take the handbook and make a chart following the handbook to the best of your ability as to what the handbook shows.
And who reports to who within the system.
I'll second that. And
Okay,
then, can I-
is that a motion then we need to make then?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. A motion is then to ask Blake and Kelly to make a new organizational chart to fall in line with the handbook
Perfect.
for us to review.
and
Right.
Perfect.
Can I request that Danielle and I each get a handbook as well? I think
You
the
need a
reason
binder.
a binder. I'm sorry. I think the reason maybe I didn't is I was on personnel for a short time, then I was switched to planning, then I was put back on personnel. So maybe that's why
May
Dana
have
didn't.
been in between that time.
Yeah. So that may be why. But if we could each get one to review, that would be great. Hate to put more on your plate, but
You can borrow mine if you need an example of what's in it.
Oh, no, that's all right.
Okay, so the chair will entertain a motion for the organizational chart to be written in line with the existing handbook for our review. Is there
Still move.
Second.
a second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No one. All right.
Staffing report.
Our next item is staffing report. Blake, I guess that's you, or used to be Dana.
We have a couple retirements from the fire union, Ed Schmidt and Lance Braun, as well as the assistant chief, Robert Mankey. Sue Mayer, she also retired. She was the police utility person. Is retiring, I'm sorry, on 02/27.
I think it's actually, she had given notice on 2/27, but I think her last day I've seen recently is April 16th, I believe, is her last day. So we are trying to fill that position. I believe Blake and potentially the police chief have a number of interviews set up for that
week.
position. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Next week we'll be doing those interviews.
With the, I'm just jumping. Okay. So we had the firefighter, paramedic retirements. So obviously that's left some open positions. And then the assistant fire chief. We've got the police patrol officer, the experienced lateral. My understanding is that's just kind of like an always thing, along with the dispatchers or the emergency services dispatch / clerk. And I know that there's been quite a bit of activity on that in recent times. A light equipment operator position's still open. And then Linda in the clerk's office had retired at the end of January, and her replacement, Molly Martini, had started earlier last month. Sewer and water technician, they're still looking for a employee there. Obviously, Dana retired after 20 years of being our HR person, and Blake, her replacement, started on the 23rd of February. And he is experiencing this meeting for the first time. And then our chief plumbing inspector position, that has also been open and ongoing. We're not really looking necessarily to fill it at this time because we had worked out a situation that just kind of works with the workflow. I'm actually thinking of just pulling that from here. And then obviously the city attorney position is still open, and there's no updates because I have not had a minute to really go through and start that. So I guess the update is that that's something that we'll be putting on our short-term list and jumping back into. Yeah. Yeah, not at all. Please.
Just a very quick update. At the end of 2025, we had a firefighter paramedic resignation. At January 1st, 2026, we assigned one of our firefighter paramedics to a grant-funded Monday through Friday community paramedic position, in addition to the retirements that were just mentioned. So the total number we currently have today, as of today, we have 3 vacant firefighter paramedic positions. As of early April 10th, we'll have 4 vacant firefighter paramedic positions. I am happy to report that due to a round of recent interviews that we conducted, we do have one candidate who we are moving forward to the Fire and Police Commission for hiring with a tentative start date of April 20th. So like I mentioned, 3 current vacancies, 1 more early April, but then we will be filling with one candidate April 20th.
What's the total number that you have?
We have a total of 45 personnel that are on our 24-hour shifts, including our shift commanders, 3 administrative chiefs for a total of 48 sworn personnel, 2 civilian personnel, which is our fire inspector and administrative assistant. So our all-in for the fire department is 50 personnel.
So your firefighter paramedics would be approximately around 40?
45.
45.
Yep.
So you're down 10% approximately.
Right. So we're facing a just like all the other fire departments in the area, a competition for qualified candidates that are suitable to fill our ranks. We've got an outstanding group of people, and we're very selective at who we hire. We take the philosophy that we want to make a good hiring decision now, so that we have a person who's a quality member of our team for their whole 25-plus year career of serving the city of Franklin. And so, like I said, we are moving one candidate forward to the commission by early April.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief.
Any questions on the staffing report? Okay. We will then move to our next item, which is future agenda items. I have on my notes 2 items from our discussion. If someone can correct me if I'm wrong. First one would be the organizational chart, would be a future agenda item.
Yes.
The second one would be our guest Shirley, that our city clerk had brought up the fact, and it was also brought up after the change of Lauren's job description, to look at job descriptions all entirety, that they're possibly outdated, which would then also lean to the fact that the salary ranges may also need to be looked at with the position descriptions. Would that be a correct statement?
Potentially.
Okay. Potentially. Okay. So that is a big, that's a big ask. So we can put that as an ongoing item to be done. Okay. Are there any other suggestions for organizational charts? I mean, agenda items? Excuse me, I'm stuck on that for my brain here. Okay. Anything else anyone else like to bring up before we can convene? Michelle?
Did we want to have a special personnel committee meeting for the organizational chart within the next 3 weeks, per se?
Well, April 20th.
Would there be a reason why we would have to accelerate it?
I don't think until we see what that looks like do we need a special one.
Okay.
Until we know what we're potentially either looking at or going to mess with.
And next, when it does come back onto the agenda, then please give a shout out to the mayor so he's aware that we'd be talking about it, if he'd like to provide us with his insight into it. So.
Well, that'll be interesting depending on who wins the election.
Okay. All right.
And
Go
that
ahead.
once the binders are ready, if you want to shoot me an email, I'll pick it up.
What's that?
Once the binders are ready, yeah. I know immediate. I know you've got a lot on your plate. It's not like I need it tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.